legends, welcome to another vlog. It is another competition. We're down for Hi-Tech round 2 at Calder Park. It's the end of practice today. It's extremely wet. As you can see, we've come down in the big transporter again. Very nice to be able to get inside it, and Luke to take it down for us. Saxon's car unfortunately had a major mechanical. The timing belt pretty much snapped when they were loading it up and lost the motor. So we're down here by ourselves. So it was still awesome of Luke to be able to take us instead of just saying find your own way there without a full truck. But we are here, Calder Park. It's in Melbourne, it's raining, it's wet, it's cold. So it's living up to its name. Battle Royale was on last night. We flew in last night. We did some practice today. I haven't filmed much at all because we were literally just shooting the shit with Chelsea Denofa, who was here last night for Battle Royale. Me, him and Russ were just talking nerd and talking shop and cars, and it was really enjoyable. I did get some laps in. I got a whole pair of tyres in the dry, and I feel a lot more confident with the track in the dry. Did a few laps on the sim, and every time I threw it into the wall, I'd write the car off in the sim. So it is quite nice to be able to take that sim, put it on the track with the muscle memory I got from the sim, and then not throw it into the wall and write the car off. So we got one pair of tyres in the dry, then it started raining, and it's been wet. Now after last round, I would think that I'd be happy about the wet, but there's this super tricky part on apex of turn 1 where there's varying levels of grip, and if you stuff it up, the car just understeers through that, and a lot of people were doing that today. So I'm not sure how we're going to go. I'm just going to take it like last comp and just try and enjoy the drive. The car's driving flawlessly, so there's nothing to blame in the car. We're just going to have some fun and try and hunt some door without getting in the wall. If we write the car off or do major damage, it could potentially be our whole season. We don't have the budget to be able to repair the car if we do any major damage. We don't even have any spares, so gonna have some fun trying not to get in the wall. See how we go tomorrow, qualification, and then the competition, and then fly back to Brizzy Monday morning. All right, I'm gonna try and get some more footage. Last event was just so hectic that we didn't really get any footage. We just stole it all off the live stream, but we just did qualifying, waiting for the stores to come through. 2 laps. First one was a bit tentative. Obviously wanted to get one in the bag with all the terrible conditions that were happening yesterday with the rain, the sketchiness on turn 1. It's like a combination of mixed matched bitumen, which is completely different grip levels. Kind of like at Archie when you go on the concrete and you get heaps more grip, but it's all patchy, so you don't really know where you are until you get there. But the second lap felt pretty good. We're going to see what comes through with the scores, and then obviously into battles, and try and keep it off the wall and have a bit of fun. See what happens.
And our qualifying positions out there at the moment. Good to see Brody Maher up there in number 1. Our second qualified, Patrick Barley, the young gun who's now here in Victoria. Third position, James Abbott is back, who was 4th last round. And then, of course, we go back to 4th position, Jordan Sanderson. Hasn't he come on strong, competing in both Pro-Am and Pro this weekend in the JN Built VE Commodore U. So some very tough contenders in our top 4. We'll have to wait and see how that unfolds. We'll head over to our...
It was big volumes of rain very, very quickly, and that has been the biggest dump of rain we've had all weekend. You know, we were looking down to the south before. We were just going, yes, this is great. We've got some sunshine. We're all getting pretty excited. But yeah, this water is definitely going to be set in for the rest of the afternoon, because you're just not going to clear this volume of water off the track. There's just rivers on the inside of the Hi-Tech Oils wall ride corner. You can see rivers of water running down the line.
Excited for this next battle. It's going to be Benny Hodges, runner-up in round number 1 at Winton, back into the pro category. And Alex Sharker, who's been around since the inception of the Hi-Tech Drift All-Stars Series, throws it in the Barra-powered
S14.
S14,
there it is.
yeah, he is.
Really solid. Both drivers really solid through turn 1. I mean, this is probably their first laps in the wet. You know, we did qualifying earlier in the dry, so this is the first laps out for these guys in the wet, and there was a lot of confidence coming through turn 1. Very, very impressive driving, both drivers. Benny Odgers sitting it right out nice and wide, probably a couple of metres off that wall, but that is a really, really good lead run, and Shaka's coming through the back there as well, getting it done. No incidents, no issues. Just a little bit of a gappage coming through the mid part of the lap.
What an impact Benny Odgers is making in the 2023 season. We saw him just coming to the pro at the end of 2022 up there in Queensland where he's based. First time in the pro category, very good in the Pro-Am series prior to that, but won himself a Zoo Performance sponsorship package, which has helped him get to all these events. And look at the speed he's carrying through here, throwing the car side to side. Like, doesn't matter whether it's Link, whether it's Zoo. He is driving it for his sponsors.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really confident, really good quality driving. And when we walked through the pits earlier today, you know, we said, yeah, you look pretty relaxed. And he goes, look, I've got to be relaxed, otherwise I'll overthink it. So, yeah, really, really cool to see him out on track. But we'll head down to the pits now and have a chat with Cookie.
Time it could be Benny Odgers, who was on the opposite side, so they haven't come up against each other this season. Here we go. Alex Sharker, look at him throw it in, the OG of High-Tech Drift All-Star Series, and the speed he's carrying. Here he goes, here with the family this weekend, his daughters and his partner.
Representing New South Wales down in Victoria. It's absolutely fantastic to have him here. Very, very highly committed into turn 1. Hung on to it, but did need to recorrect the front steering there a little bit. Little bit of understeer washout. But Benny Odgers has regrouped and caught right up coming through that last part of the corner and over the finish line.
And that could be the difference from a chase position, couldn't it? That Benny Odgers actually got that proximity back and caught up. Alex Sharker, well, his dad's here this weekend. Normally they're running drag racing up there in Sydney, and they definitely got the grip dialed into the car off the start line, that's for sure. He goes around that first corner. It's not too wide for me, considering the conditions. Comes back. Oh, look, they understeer.
Yep.
But again, the track's greasy. Everyone's struggling out there. Look at the speed he's carrying. Odgers goes, you know what? Touch and go, wind off a little bit of angle. Look at him set himself up for Odgers in the background now. It's like, reel him in. Pull the fish in.
Wow, and to be able to continue the line, I mean, I guess the line is more of the important criteria. If you're going to sacrifice something, it wants to be...
Wow, what a run from him. In the meantime, we'll catch up down in the pits with Cookie.
Yeah, cheers, Matty. Got Benny, my boy. He's cruising through again. He's like, oh, I'm just trying this pro stuff. Parked in front of his transporter, kicking his way through.
Yeah, I was very happy with that one. We were sitting on the line, me and Sharkers, and it just started hailing through the window. And we both look at each other and be like, what the hell's going on? Like, this is insane. And we just sent it, couldn't see through the windscreen, put down a good lead, and then tried to throw it in his door at the end, and just happy to drive with him. I've seen him drive past, and it was a blast. We had some practice together yesterday, and it was just really enjoyable.
Yeah, well, look, it's Melbourne, so it's probably going to be sunny in about 2 seconds, so don't stress.
Yeah, I need to get the sunscreen out, but yeah, hopefully we can take it to the top. Thanks to Zoo Performance and Link ECU.
Good job, mate. Thanks, guys.
The Queenslander won't be used to these temperatures. Hail. They don't get that up there,
I don't
surely.
think it ever hails in Queensland. Maybe you get that tropical storm every now and then, but it's still warm.
We've got the battle of the FD checklist. 2 white S15s, 2 Js, Wise Fab, sequential, all the boxes ticked. There's only one Jabbit though. Has he got it for Benny?
Yeah, it's come down to the driver on this one. How's good old Melbourne? The last battle we were both out in, it was hailing. Now it's a beautiful day. Obviously the track's still a mess, but I think, yeah, we've got all the same hardware, so now it's going to come down to the driver.
You'll be right, mate, and Nigella will look after you.
See you, mate.
James Abbott, look, he's always a character when he's out there. He's done this for so many years. He's just going to go out and do it again. The High-Tech Blaze unit, Winton was very testing for him. We actually did see him make a little bit of contact when it was in the top 4 battles there. Managed to just miss out on a podium there in 4th position for James Abbott, but a good start in the points because we haven't seen him at the top of a championship.
Isn't it interesting that both rounds this season have been wet, dry, wet, dry? You know, the guys have really got to earn it this year. I think anyone that takes it to Winton for round 3, that's going to be the next lot of challenge.
Well, let's have a look at how this is going to play out with our top 8 battles in the High-Tech Oars Pro category. Brody Maher is going to take on Chris Sadler. Jordan Sanderson, Roger Anderson will battle it out. Patrick Barley and Sam Mudge, and then James Abbott and Benny Odgers. We just spoke about the S15s, the 2J Power. That one's going to be interesting.
But if Sam Mudge didn't complete the first part of that chase, like if he didn't chase Patrick Barley, then it might be all over for him.
Oh, it's the battle of the S15s now. Here we go. James Abbott will lead out over Benny Hodges. Abbott understeer. Look at how much both of them go through. There's so much mud on the exit of turn number 1 now. It's been carried out. And James Abbott now regroups. Gets the Hi-Tech Oils Nigella S15 underway. Benny Hodges, as he met his match in this round, they didn't come up against each other in round number 1, but Abbott right out on the wall. The boss won't be happy if he's scraping that paint off.
Well, I mean, both drivers made the similar sort of error coming into turn 1. It's just James Abbott just absolutely regrouped himself quicker, got himself underway, and then sent it on the second part of the lap. Here we go on the Tri-S replay. We can see what happened. I mean, Abbott's entering at about a midway part down that back straight. He was going pretty quick and he's run it really wide, but Benny Hodges done the same thing. Both of these guys have gone to big steering lock and it pushed understeer. So then you've got to try and regroup. You've got to try and recover the understeer. You've got to straighten the car up and reinitiate. And it just seems like Jabbett was able to get back underway much quicker. Benny Hodges eventually did as well, but he's just going to be a bit rattled there in that second position and lagging behind. He'll be trying to chase, and it's just a hard position.
Yeah, look, unfortunate for Sam Mudge. He's still got Pro-Am to fight it out. Let's have a look at the Tri-S replay, because this battle was on our screens while we were down there talking to Patrick Barley, but James Abbott was super strong in that first one. We've seen the issues on turn number 1. Benny Hodges let out this time, though. We'll have a look at the Link ECU Zoo Performance S15, and again, understeer. You can see James Abbott having to work in the background, but he resets himself here, goes a little bit wide.
They've both made the same error, but on both corners. So
wheel off, though, in that checking point. Big, a lot of mud and dirt flicked up there from Benny Hodges, whereas we see James Abbott just maintaining proximity throughout here.
Yeah, so you had Benny Hodges in turn 1. He had the understeer, you could see that, and James Abbott was able to just calm his distance and be able to control it. And then when Jabs did the big flick into turn 2, then he had the understeer and had to recorrect. So they both made similar errors across turn 1 and turn 2. Benny Hodges dropped that back wheel in the outside dirt at the clipping point. Wow, and then, the reinitiate around that last corner. It was a reasonable last corner, getting around unscathed. But yeah, we're going to have to go back through first part of the lap and just dissect it all.
I think it comes down to that first battle, really, where James Abbott, they both made an error, but he regrouped, drove away.
Yeah.
Benny Hodges didn't really regroup from that, and I can see the scores coming in now. It looks like James Abbott has got the win over that one. Benny Hodges with the wheels off, I think, probably hurt him as going on, though. The S15s took it out. James Abbott and Benny Hodges were battling it out, and James Abbott got the advantage in this one between the two. Benny Hodges a wheel off throughout that run. We saw him pick up a bit of mud. There was some understeer, but James Abbott, look how close he wants to get with the proximity in this run. He really not worried about risking the panel work on that. They've had to fix a cradle up and everything in that car too between rounds after the contact he made with Roger Jansen down in Winton. Didn't look very heavy, but when they undid the cradle bolts, he said it actually sprung back into place. So despite that, you see James Abbott still wanting to push the limits there, and Ben Hodges not really putting too much of a foot wrong this weekend. Unfortunately, just made a little bit of an error. Maybe the pressure under the man himself, Jabs.
Alright guys, it's all over, run and done for us. We didn't win, so really good run with Jabs. He was super fast out of the block, tried to chase him, big understeer by myself and him, and then my lead just wasn't on point enough and he was all over me. Super fun. The car is all in one piece. Car's in one piece, super happy, qualified 6, and it looks like maybe 6 overall with the top 4 out-qualifying me and one other. So pretty happy with that. Should be some good points on the board. The car's in one piece. We've got heaps of tyres for next round. Overall very happy in the conditions that we were given. The car's just a dream. I just need to get better. Maybe some more Japan trips. If you want to come on board, let me know. But yeah, that's a wrap for us. Fly out tomorrow, have a few drinks tonight, and stay tuned for the next one.